There's been a lot of backlash about Puerto Rican artist Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl. And I want to give you the historical context because this is not actually about Bad Bunny at all. This backlash is really about Puerto Rico, anti blackness, Latinidad, and who gets to represent what is fully American. Puerto Rico has been a U.S. colony since 1898. Puerto Ricans were granted U.S. citizenship in 1917, meaning that Puerto Ricans from Puerto Rico have been U.S. citizens for over 100 years. A lot of people, a lot of Americans do not know that. But their citizenship comes with sort of a caveat, if you will, or guess what? It's unequal, and this is why. Puerto Ricans cannot vote for a U.S. president, and although federal laws apply, the political power does not. And not only that, they have no voting representation in Congress. Puerto Rico has historically been used for military conscription, tax shelters, and economic extraction. So, based on this relationship, Puerto Rico is often seen as foreign and less than, despite the fact that their citizens have been U.S. citizens for over a century. When a Puerto Rican citizen headlines something as American as the Super Bowl, it questions what is American and it questions the American hierarchy. Another part of this backlash goes back to language, race, and anti blackness. Bad Bunny often performs exclusively in Spanish. For people who have some white nationalist leanings, they can see this as invasive, un American, and political rather than cultural. They're sort of saying, well, wait a minute, if you're performing on a national stage in America, why can't you speak English? They're ignoring the fact that his cultural language is Spanish and probably don't know that Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. This echoes previous backlash from black artists when Beyonce had her Black Panther imagery. Hip hop artists saying, what are we doing with rap music at the Super Bowl? This is all a part of the same thing. Who gets to show up and say they're American? A lot of people also don't know Puerto Ricans have a rich African history, and a lot of this is just steeped in good old fashioned anti-blackness. Afro-Latino identity often gets the same kind of backlash that black identity gets. And this anger isn't new, it's just recycled. Non-white visibility on a national stage. The Super Bowl is a cultural gatekeeper. And so when you see the Super Bowl, you see military flyovers. You're going to see and hear patriotic songs being sang, right? You're going to see corporate America, all of these corporate America, Dunkin' Donuts, all of these type of very American things. And here comes somebody who's speaking Spanish and singing Spanish. How does that fit in the culture of what is America? It's important to remember that black and brown performers are often accepted if they are assimilating. Okay, if they are assimilating. But if you are outspoken, if you are singing in another language, right, that becomes threatening and unacceptable. Bad Bunny violates that exception of sort of an assimilating performer, right? Because one, he's singing in Spanish. Two, he doesn't code switch to appease white audiences. Three, he has been vocal about U.S. policies that have negatively impacted Puerto Rico. All of these things can make American viewers uncomfortable because they see American culture as white, not brown, not Spanish, but white. From a black perspective, this mirrors black history. So we get it. Black Americans were denied the right to read, to congregate, families taken away from each other, the terror of lynching, and the KKK. So when we see someone like Bad Bunny and being targeted and what people are saying, it all sounds very familiar to us. Throughout American history, whether it was jazz, whether it was rock and roll that we invented, hip hop, you had people saying it was un American, right? So this is no different. So at its core, what people are really mad about is who gets to decide what is and what isn't American. Who gets to decide what should represent America? They want to decide who gets to represent America. They want to decide on a large cultural stage like the Super Bowl who gets to decide and represent who we are. And yet, Bad Bunny is American. Puerto Ricans are American, and Spanish belongs here. And Afro Latino culture belongs here as well. And I want to leave you with this one pattern that happens over and over again, and it's happening here, so that when you see it, you know what it is. One, a marginalized group gains visibility. Two, their culture appears on a national stage. Three, backlash happens and claims of it not being American. Four, over time, it becomes normalized. If you look back into the 50s, the music, Chuck Berry, and things like that, hip hop culture in the 80s, or what have you, every time something hits a national stage, you have these people who come out of their hovels and they say it's un-American. All right, y'all, that's one to grow on. I hope this helps. Peace.